RSS sent many of its top volunteers to work, like Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani, and many others. This component merged into Janata Party in 1975 under the moral guidance of Jai Prakash Narayan. Now, when Janata Party came to power, in Janata Party, many of the socialists and others, they started saying that people coming from Jan Sangh, as it was popularly called, they should renounce their loyalty to the RSS. And this was called double membership. On one hand, they are members of RSS, on the other hand, they are members of Janata Party. So they objected to it, and on that ground, Janata Party split. The Jan Sangh component came out and it formed Bharatiya Janata Party in 1980. We'll pick up this thread a bit later. Coming back to the other organizations like Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, we know all its role in JNU and other universities in trying to combat the progressive, liberal, democratic values which are in the campuses. Now, Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, it works in the areas amongst Adivasis, and it tries to Hinduize them. It tries to tell them that we are Hindus from ancient times, and come to the Hindu fold. Hindu methods are taught to them. In Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram also tries to do something called Ghar Vapsi, by saying that these Adivasis are misguided into other religions. It tries to bring them back into the fold of Hinduism. Similarly, this particular whole process is called as Ghar Vapsi, around which many disturbances have taken place in the society. Vishwa Hindu Parishad is probably quite well known, and Vishwa Hindu Parishad mainly, which was formed probably in 1964, it later on initiated the issue of Ram Temple. It tried to bring different Hindu sects under the single umbrella, different sadhus under the single umbrella, and it was instrumental in spreading the Hindu nationalist ideology amongst the religiously committed groups within the Hindu society. We see the role of BJP from 1980, and initially it talked of Gandhian socialism. Later on, it totally showed its true colors when it took up the issue of Ram Temple, which got a stronger response once VP Singh implemented Mandal Commission. BJP, it went on to demolish, BJP obviously along with the other members of RSS combined, went on to demolish Babri Mosque in 1992, after which massive violence took place in Mumbai, in Bhopal, Surat, and many other places, which we will deal in some other episode after this. So BJP is always taking up issues related to identity. The basic issues related to food, shelter, employment, health and education are not on the priority list of BJP. Probably we'll discuss the BJP rule of last 6 years in one of the episodes to make clear, but basically they take up identity issues, and identity issues, they have a potential of dividing the society, in contrast to the issues related to bread, butter, shelter, employment, economic development, education. So this is the basic difference as far as BJP is concerned. Another organization which is subordinate to RSS, in which RSS Pracharak is not leading the thing, but this organization itself is subordinate to RSS, and its name is Rashtra Sevika Samiti. Now, Rashtra Sevika Samiti is meant for women, and this deliberately, if you notice, the organization of the men's organization is Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, while women's organization is Rashtra Sevika Samiti. So here the Swayam word is missing, because according to every male dominated ideology, patriarchy is the center of their political belief. It may be RSS, it may be Taliban, it may be Christian fundamentalists, it may be Buddhist fundamentalists, all of them relegate women to the secondary position. So that is, there is a Rashtra Sevika Samiti. Now as far as RSS is concerned, of course there are many more organizations, I am not listing them, but RSS kept totally aloof from freedom movement. At individual level, its first Sarasangachalak, K.B. Hedgewar, in 1930 participated in the civil disobedience movement and he participated in some aspects of this, and he himself clearly writes, I participated in the movement so that I could lure like-minded people into RSS. So his idea was very clear. It was not to be the part of the national movement for freedom, but to build up the RSS organization. Similarly, its most famous person so far before Modi came to power was Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He also was in jail for 2 days in 1942. But he clearly says in a letter which we have quoted so often that I was not part of the crowd which was participating as a part of the freedom movement, which was breaking the forest law. I was an onlooker. By mistake they caught hold of me, I was jailed, and then after his apology letter he was released. And incidentally, in his apology letter he also tells as who are the people who were leading that agitation. So RSS also passed resolution in 1942 that they should not do anything which will annoy the British, and all those military drills and other things which RSS does were suspended during that time. That time, 1942, Gandhi was leading 1942 Quit India movement, which has been one of the greatest ever movements in India. But RSS definitely totally kept aloof from it, and it kept criticizing Gandhi's policies and freedom movement for various reasons. Now, this is so far as the independence is concerned. Then comes the very long episode related to Nathuram Godse. Documents prove that Nathuram Godse was a member of RSS. He rose to the level of Pracharak. Later on, he left RSS as he says, but documents say that he continued to be in RSS. In addition, he went and joined the Hindu Mahasabha Pune branch, where he became its secretary, and he also started publishing a newspaper called Agrani or Hindu Rashtra. That was the title of his paper. And Nathuram Godse was very close to, he was a close disciple of Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Jeevanlal Kapoor commission tells that this conspiracy was hatched by the Hindu Mahasabha leaders, because of which we had to lose the father of the nation. Now, while talking on Godse, I must also tell you that when Gandhi was murdered by Nathuram Godse, now of course RSS disowns Nathuram Godse. Nathuram Godse himself said in the court that he has nothing to do with RSS. But his brother Gopal Godse said that they had always been part of RSS, and they grew up with RSS, etc., etc. Now, after this, at that time, Sardar Patel was the Home Minister of India, and he banned RSS for a long time. He put the condition that RSS should have written constitution, and Patel in his letter pointed out that hatred was spread in the society by RSS. It is due to this hatred that we had to lose father of our nation, and that's why RSS was banned. Later on, of course, ban was lifted and RSS came forward, and from the decade of 1980s, RSS is becoming more and more assertive, more and more dominant, because its training programs, its training of Swayamsevaks, its training of Pracharaks has been going on ceaselessly, and it has been spreading falsehoods about Indian nationalism. It has been trying to defame people like Jawaharlal Nehru, and many of its members have openly been praising Nathuram Godse, like Pragya Singh Thakur, who is a BJP MP. She says Nathuram Godse was a patriot. He was a patriot, he is a patriot, he will remain a patriot. She is a member of Lok Sabha from BJP, and there are many of these RSS people who may be having high regard for Nathuram Godse. Recently, another Hindutva organization on Gandhi's Martyrdom Day, they recreated the scene of murder of Gandhi. One Poonam Shakun Pandey, she shot 3 bullets into Gandhi's effigy, and the red blood started flowing as a symbol. So within RSS cadres, Hindu nationalists, there are many now who are openly demanding for temple for Godse, respecting to Godse, talking about Godse in a very respectful manner. Basically, country has serious problems related to poverty, unemployment, lack of health facilities, etc., etc. But these have never been on the agenda of RSS any time. It has always been talking of nationalism, I mean Hindu nationalism. It has always been targeting the Dalits on the ground that they are a part of Hindu fold, and etc., etc. So amongst Dalits, they have multiple strategies. They are creating Dalit icons, and through social engineering methods, they are trying to co-opt many Dalit groups into their fold. Similarly, amongst Adivasis also, they are trying to Hinduize, as I pointed out, and this is their agenda, which is unfolding through different organizations. Since 2014, once BJP government came to power with majority, the number of RSS shakhas is increasing in great number. And even in the states where BJP is not in power, the RSS work is very strong, and RSS tries to project that we are a Hindu nation, and many a times it tries to confuse also. It tries to confuse by saying all those who are in India are Hindus. Sometimes then they will say that Muslims are Ahmadiyya Hindus, Christians are Christi Hindus, etc., etc. So all those type of things, it tries to win over section of Muslims and Christians also. But of course, the impact of their policies is so strong that many people have suffered in a very, very severe manner. So a large section of religious minority does know that BJP, RSS, their agenda is that of Hindu Rashtra. Similarly, Dalits, they also, the serious Dalit thinkers and serious Dalit individuals do realize Ambedkar's warning that Hindu Raj will be a big calamity for Dalits. So today we are standing at a juncture where Hindu nationalism is getting stronger by the day, where because of BJP being in power, the deeper strength of RSS is going up and up. So it is time that we try to distinguish between Indian nationalism of Bhagat Singh, Gandhi, Ambedkar on one side, and Hindu nationalism as being propagated by RSS. Now, Hindu nationalism has been sowing the seeds of divisiveness in the society. We need to bring back the values of freedom movement and build a Indian fraternity cutting across the borders of religion, language, ethnicity, etc. So we have to be valuing values of we have to value principles of Indian Constitution and try to build a India which was a dream of the leaders of freedom movement. That's what will lay the foundation, that will relay the foundation of development of the country. Thank you very much.